ruled in a world with the laws of Allah. Islam was lived, not just taught, like a story, no flaw in the system, and therefore the way of living. Age of 15 on a battlefield killing, Kafir blood spilling. Islam attracted millions with the strength to rule the world with a just system. Judging between the people just so what Allah has given, no boundaries. Lies that the Kafirs draw, but there was no Kafirs in authority. Only Allah and His deen control the life in every aspect. Today the Muslims die cause Kafirs have us blasted and raped, and plus the killings, dominating the Muslim lands with blood to the ceiling.
Muslim warriors, victorious from century to century. Now we inhabit penitentiaries and forgotten our history. Dying without dignity, we living in misery. While Kafirs roam our lands, converting us to their ministries. No one to protect, now we left for the death. Kafirs drew up their borders and took our lands for themselves, and celebrated the fate of the once great state. March 3rd, 1924 was the date that the Kafir named Ataturk canceled Khilafah, and the Muslim unity was finally abolished. Any sense of a threat was finally met by placing puppet regimes to suppress our deen and make the masses believe Islam is not what it seems. Change the history text to have less an effect. If a sheikh got out of line, they put him in check. So why he scared to react? They free to oppress. Muslims then migrate on their way to the west, being tricked to believe that this country's the best. Now they pledging their life, even willing to fight their own brothers and sisters for the Kafirs' delight. We need to unite and stand up firm for what's right. Be willing to die for this deen and bring it back on the scene.
Where the Ummah at? Where the Ummah at? The brother, those Kafirs love the haters on the attack, to expose those behind closed doors who sell out for their foes. Meridians to equators, you see them haters. It's just a matter of time. Presidents do crimes, get away snoring white lines. That's why I got Dawah in my rhymes. We had great university, always get blamed for blowing up buildings and embassies. I turn the other cheek to reach for my heat. How you gon' take it to the streets and you weak? Reality is an alligator pit when it bites. Tupac had a girlfriend, but I need a Muslim or wife. In a duster with 2 Glocks screaming Islamic life. You ask why we so mad? CIA and FBI plant crack kilograms. Got Muslim kids eating spam and ham. Worldwide living ghetto fabulous. They can't handle this. Moving through Persia, they can't stop this inertia. Alameen knocking out Kafirs like Prince Nassim. Doing flips, calling it a Don in the ring. Muslim commando, tough with a Rambo. But we cry when Muslim dies. You wanna go to Jinnah, living this deen, it's Allah you enter, and break through Cooper brigades in Belgrade. Allah slave, hearts that's brave. Drop zone is Kosovo, land in the deep my boat. Dying in jihad is the best way to go, but shaheeds don't die, they multiply.
These so-called scholars clock dollars, while Don call us drying our sisters' hollers. Khatib's love affair with America just beginning. My ummah is sinning, we wonder why they winning. They try to fill our minds with Western design, ideological pollution. We wonder why we caught with no solution. While sheikhs tell us hours of fiqh regarding prayers, they wander aimlessly, shamelessly, with no thought on current affairs. They only grieve about the siege to scare you, to prepare you for Western version of Islam in America. They claim sincerity but don't face this. We can trace this to the Western thought behind their bases. Tell me to be like a Jew, forget a clue. They don't give a damn about you under the red, white, and blue. Mad at me cause I see the beauty that you continue to flee. The election trash I smash, but you continue to push. While your love linger, I got a finger for both Gore and Bush, Warren Beatty, Jesse the Bati, and your third party. I wreck all those paying your check ain't right cause you left, where's your self-respect? While the kuffar devour us by the hour, you just cower and speak about a religion, not a superpower. I ain't supposed to question your dedication, but why is your reply when Muslims stop prayer and integration? Yo, I can't stand it, Islamic academic, but like a priest you do the least and that's how they planned it. Behind closed doors it's no mystery. Now here comes Nadir with the history. What?
1,1419 years ago was born a soul that will grow and bestow on earth just as it has not again come to know. And just so you understand, I want you to envision the strongest man with a duty to rule the land and implement the event. With a flick of the finger, he liberated Philistine and spread like butter. Open most of Asia, African, we all was brothers. Smiling on all of this, he recognized his duty was never finished, so he began liberating Spain and Eastern Europe, helping those ignorant Christians. Crushing the opposition and shedding the light of this deen. Thriving in science, mathematics with things the world has never seen. But let's take a deeper look at why they thrive, cause looking at us now looks like history lied. The Muslims had institutions that fed them with Quran and Aqidah issues. Today we are confused confused about if we can make Saladin shoes. Did you know the first Khalifa with the son to follow was Ali radiallahu anhu? Are your scholars earning dollars for only teaching you more issues? The strong man had kingdoms crumbling and kept enemies retreating and running. Nowadays we are told to turn the other cheek and just keep loving. As this strong man grew older, he knew to be aware of Shaitan, so he stretched and pressed his ummah to hold tight to Quran. But the worst of creatures kept attempting to bring him down. He had moments but always rose like when Muhammad fought to crush Constantine's crown. The scholars, the Mujahideen, were not passive during injustice, nor were they silent. They understood and joined in Ma'ruf even if it was accomplished by violence. When the Mongols attacked, we held to the rope of Allah tightly. Thank you, Ya Rab, yet most merciful, most high, creative, death, Allah Almighty. The strong man was injected with a poison from the enemies. Despite his sickness spreading to the kuffar, he was never pleased. The earth began to suffer as the man's flag was removed from some lands. Even mountains and trees wept, missing the loud quality of Dan. His hands were removed from Spain and the infection got deeper. The enemies of Islam kept calm, creeping like the Grim Reaper. These lands were infiltrated by missionaries, in essence Christians. From France, Germany, most of Europe, and of course spearheaded by Britain. This one strong man became known as the sick man because the infection started to inflame his glands and paralyze his hands. As his hands were paralyzed, Kuffar organized a campaign full of lies and implanted spies. During this time, the scholars were despised and Muslims' minds grew hard and thick. We slowed up teaching what was taught in Dalal Arkham and let this man grow sick to the point we began to call for Asabiyah like back in Jahiliyyah and made our ibadat with no conviction or niyyah. But Allah promised us that his deen would reign, so I asked Kuffar to bring the pain. This sick man is sleeping but not dead, ready to be awakened. His IT is brewing, his name Khilafah, and his fever is breaking.